I wanted to bring up this video of Elizabeth Warren talking about breaking up Apple's smartphone monopoly. She says, also, come on, let's stop leaving green text people out of the group chats. It's just not right. This is what our elected heroes are focused on. And Elizabeth Warren is absolutely everyone's favorite elected hero. So let's play this. 1 minute, 5 seconds.
Green text on iPhones, they're ruining relationships.
Yeah.
That's right. Non-iPhone users everywhere are being excluded from group texts, from sports teams chats to birthday chats to vacation plan chats. They're getting cut out, missing out on plans and conversations. And who's to blame here? Apple. That's just one of the dirty tactics that Apple uses to keep a stranglehold on the smartphone market. Apple has used its monopoly on smartphones to lock Americans into services and amass billions of dollars in profits. Apple even takes a cut every time you use Tap to Pay and has blocked a new app that would have let Android users finally use iMessage and get those blue texts. That's why last month, the Department of Justice sued Apple for its broad-based exclusionary conduct. And that's the right thing to do. It's time to break up Apple's monopoly now. Green text.
Okay, so first I want to say I'm absolutely guilty of this. I have an iPhone and I have a sports team that I'm a captain of, and I exclude one of my members because he has an Android, and I cannot stand that sewer green bullshit popping up on my screen. So I get it. It's gross. I don't know what to tell you. Stop being poor. Yes,
what?
Android phones, you don't have to be poor to have an Android phone. I'm just joking.
Okay. So this is funny that we're talking about this because I actually had this conversation like a couple days ago. One, these Google phones and stuff, some of them are way better than iPhones, but people want iPhones because it means you're part of a social club. Now, Apple does have the ability to allow people to use green texts, to get certain apps, all this other stuff, but they're keeping this monopoly. But do I want the Department of Justice to stay? Like, do I really think I've been aggrieved so bad? Well, I mean, I have an iPhone, but does someone who not have an iPhone think they've been aggrieved so bad that the DOJ needs to step in? Like that to me seems incredibly crazy. But I kind of would expect nothing less from Elizabeth Warren. And you know, she said, whose fault is it? It's Apple's. Like, no, it's the person who chooses to not get an iPhone. That's whose fault it is. I had an interesting fight one day about Elizabeth Warren versus Elon Musk. But yeah, she's something else.
Well, here's a chart that Zero Hedge threw up. iPhone versus Android market share worldwide. Now, I don't know if Elizabeth Warren, she's not focused on worldwide per se, but she is. I mean, Android certainly has a major share of the market, probably because I think Androids are just more available. I think they're probably cheaper in other markets. Old Androids, right? Probably. I don't know.
They're also a good phone. Like they do have good quality. And like very good
people are going to stop listening to us if you think that Androids are good phones.
Androids have some good quality phones with great cameras. iPhones cameras, from my understanding, kind of pale in comparison to some Google phone cameras.
Oh, I can take a picture of the moon during a solar eclipse, like with more clarity. Oh, give me
you can.
It's not worth it for green text.
Liz Warren. Okay, I thought this was a joke at first. She's serious. Is she the dumbest person that we have in the U.S. Senate, or is that
probably not? I can't think of another one, but I'm sure there's someone else.
Oh my God. But I would say when she came up in the ranks after the financial collapse, I'm going to take us on a tangent as I do. When she came up during the financial collapse and was like taking on the big banks and all that stuff, I was like, okay, not my side of the aisle, but I'm game for this kind of talk. The woman has been completely, I don't know what happened. They like Jeffrey Epstein her or something. And she's just completely compromised, and it's just the things she does now, they don't even make sense.
Wait, do you think that this is out of line with who she originally was?
Not necessarily. I'm more making a broader point about Liz Warren's transformation from who she was when she ran to now who she is. And I don't understand some of the things she does. I don't know. Yeah, maybe busting up Apple's monopoly is kind of consistent with her brand. But like, of the things you need to talk about and focus on, Liz Warren,
She transitioned, Michael.
to something.
Well, to a white woman. Previously, she was an Indian woman.
Oh, that's true.
So it's just these are the priorities of a white woman. Before holding, big finance accountable or whatever the hell she was doing, those were the priorities of a Native American woman.
Do you remember when Elizabeth Warren, it's like last year, got into a fight with Elon Musk and essentially said like he hasn't really contributed much to like the world, and they were like going back and forth, and she's like, he hasn't contributed much. And I think she went like an investigation into him or something. She just, some of the things that she does, I don't. But here's the thing: when the reason these people continue stuff like that is because they have supporters who will double down on it. I was doing a segment on that Elizabeth Warren thing, and there was a woman who was adamantly defending her, being like, Elizabeth Warren is better than Elon Musk. She's contributed far
on
more
what?
On Elizabeth Warren versus Elon Musk.
But where were you doing a segment? Where were you doing a segment?
I think it was like CNN or something. Yeah, it was CNN.
You were on Joe Rogan's pod. You were on CNN?
I was on JRE.
That's
Joe Rogan's.
When were you on CNN, Charles?
The day that I was arguing about Elizabeth Warren.
What the I mean, you do Candace Owens' podcast. You do the local Fox affiliate probably every Sunday or something like that. You're on TV in Houston, like broadcasting to millions of people in Houston. And you were on CNN and airports everywhere?
Yes, in airports everywhere. That is true. In airports everywhere.
Charles is a heavy hitter, Brad.
No,
I get it.
Can I ask a question though?
No.
What was the demographic of said woman who was arguing that Liz Warren has contributed more to society than Elon Musk?
She was 50 and white.
No surprise there. Jesse Kelly was on Tucker recently, and he goes off on what he calls the Democrats' voting base, which is pissed off, depressed, pill popping white women in their 40s and 50s.
They're called awfuls.
Liz Warren's demographic.
They're called awfuls. AWFL, affluent white female liberal.
Oh, that's a thing. Oh, really? I didn't know.
That is a thing. Absolutely. Charles, I have to ask you. And I guess that now is as good a time as any, right?
Yeah.
How do you get onto CNN? How do you get onto all of these major programs? How do you do it?
Who, me, or just like a general person?
I mean, I guess you can only speak from your own personal experience, but perhaps that also applies to other people's experiences as well. How did you do it?
At that time, I was working with an agent who would coordinate. The Candace Owens one was just someone saw me speaking at an event. It was actually TPPF policy orientation. And then they, asked PragerU, and then PragerU emailed me. But the CNN, Fox News stuff, that's Fox National, not Fox Local, but CNN, Fox National stuff, that was just through the agent. My agent kind of coordinated it.
You currently have an agent?
Yes.
Okay, I didn't know that. I think that's cool. Good for you, man.
But it's
Are they looking for a bald white man?
Who is it? Yes.
Very few people are not looking for that. So
you can be the next Joe Rogan / Dana White.
Oh my God. Why do you have to? I mean, we're not all the same. Okay. We don't all look the same. I know that's what you probably think. All bald white men are the same. They look the same. Like who Joe Rogan, Brad? Well, they look the same. Who the fuck knows? You're a racist.